And happy Tuesday to everybody. This is the Investor Guys podcast. I'm Kevin Mills, and this gentleman here to my, is it my right? Yeah. My right is Bill Barnett. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing excellent, my brother. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you as well.
I hope you and the family had an incredibly amazing Mother's Day.
We did. We had a fantastic Mother's Day. My wife and my daughter have been spending pretty much every waking moment lately at the club, hanging out mostly at the pool. So they both look as brown as a bean. So having fun with that.
Very good. And I hope everybody watching us had an amazing Mother's Day. If you're like me, your mom's no longer with you, then you thought about her in a loving way and just cherish those memories. Nobody ever loves you quite like your mom. And so it is way cool to have Mother's Day every year. And now that we have celebrated that, and it's on to Memorial Day coming up at the end of the month. And in between now and then, real estate. So
yes. Lots of real estate.
What do we want to talk about today?
You know, you had mentioned a show or two back about Asterisk Cities.
Yeah.
And they're cities that have a unique feature, and they have them in every state. There's a unique feature that sets it apart from, say, the other cities in that state. So, for example, in Ohio, Columbus is a capital city. Columbus is also home to the Ohio State University. So those are two asterisks that set that city apart from, say, Dayton, Ohio. It's not the capital, and there's not a world-class, ginormous university in Dayton. So that makes it an asterisk city. So we've got asterisk cities. There's asterisk cities all over the country, and different things make them asterisk cities. So for you and I, we like Cleveland for investing in Section 8. So Section 8 is one of our asterisks for Cleveland that may not be an asterisk for another different city. So asterisk cities, let's expand on that. Let's talk about different things that make cities asterisk cities and things that we should look at and consider. And then talk about some of the strategies, if we have time, that we can put into place for each one of those different asterisks based upon the city. So I'm gonna let this go so that you can start, because you're the one who brought up asterisk cities in the first place.
So the first thing I look at for an asterisk city is state capitals. Now, so we have a definitive market here: 50 states, 50 capitals, and with every state capital, there is a little bit of a false economy in those political environments, in those state capitals, because our government is going to run no matter what else the rest of the economy is doing. The economy can be going gangbusters, and the state capital is going to be gangbusters as well. The economy can absolutely stink, and the state capital is going to do well anyway, because it has an economy that is unique unto itself. And so all state capitals, because all state governments have to run continually, all state capitals do a terrific job as far as the economy locally goes. So when you're looking at Austin, when you're looking at Boise, when you're looking at whatever, figure it out, Montgomery, Alabama, at Jackson, Mississippi, whatever it is, whatever you're looking at, the state capital, San Jose, California, is likely to be incredibly strong from a real estate standpoint, because it's a little bubble. Inside the state, no matter what else is going on in the state, the capital is going to have real estate demands that are different from the rest of the state. The high-end rental market is going to be significantly more important in a capital city than it is in most any other city. And it's because people that are coming in that are working for the state, they may be working federally, they may be a lobbyist, that are coming in, they're looking for a certain level of quality in their housing. And that's not Section 8, that's not bottom end, they're looking mid-range and up. And so there's a market there for that. I love investing in capital cities because of that. And then you just have to know, okay, I need to draw a circle around the capital, and I need to go a quarter mile, half mile, mile and a half, 2 miles out, concentric circles around the capital, and see where are the areas in those circles that are most attractive for the type of people that are coming in to work, whether they work for a senator, a congressman, whether they are part of the state government directly, they work for the governor, or they work for some governmental office, or whether they're a lobbyist. I need to know where those neighborhoods are that are going to be viable for those type people to live in. And when I'm looking at those, that gives me an opportunity for a particular piece, a segment of the marketplace that is not available typically anywhere else. So we're going to see a downturn in the market. There's a lot of the markets that are extremely strong. Florida as a state is extremely strong. Texas as a state is extremely strong. Now, there may be markets. We were talking in the last 2 or 3 shows, we did this top 10 list. There were 5 separate top 10 lists that Forbes did. We went through those, and what do those mean? And what we found out was that there were only a couple of places where Florida and Texas showed up because they were market specific. They were individual city specific requirements. From a state standpoint, you're not going to find things better than you look at Florida, Texas, you look at South Dakota. Idaho's going to do fairly well. But when you look at those, states, and you look at why are people moving into those states? They're moving into them because they are, in many cases, fleeing something else. They may be fleeing, as we see with both Texas and Florida, they may be fleeing taxation from another state. So when you look at Boise, a ton of people from California moving to Boise to escape California taxation. When you look at New Haven, Connecticut, you look at Stamford, Connecticut, a ton of people leaving New York, state of New York and New York City to be able to escape high taxation and still be able to catch the train and go back to New York City to work if that's where they need to be working. So we want to look at what these state capitals have to offer and how does that affect the real estate market. Now, we're coming up on a hard break here, so let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about some other Asterisk cities, how that applies for us. Hang around for more Investor Guys.
One quick note before we go into the break, and I forget, for those of you who are Googling, the state capital of California is Sacramento. So Sacramento, not San Jose.
No, sorry about that. I misspoke.
I got people who are like, wait a minute, I thought it was Sacramento.
Yeah, no.
So state capital.
I was thinking hockey as opposed to
California, Sacramento. Yeah. We'll be back in just a second and more about Asterisk cities and strategies that will make us more profitable in those Asterisk cities. My name is Kevin Mills. I have put together the absolute most comprehensive and complete real estate investor training program that I am going to stand behind it with a double your tuition back guarantee if it does not make you a millionaire. The program is called Millionaire Blueprint. In fact, we call it the Guaranteed Millionaire Blueprint. If you take this course and you follow exactly what we teach you in this course, I guarantee that you will be a real estate millionaire, or I will give you double your tuition back. Read more about our guarantee, read more about this program, and even sign up for the next event at www.guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. That's guaranteedmillionaireblueprint.com. Eleven months out of the year, Bill and I host real estate buyers events in cities like Cleveland, Ohio, where we ourselves invest and see great returns. We show investors the types of strategies we're using, the types of properties we're using. We introduce them to people here on the ground and the resources that they can use to get started right away. Day 4 of this event, we're actually touring properties and making offers on properties. This event was designed to put properties in your portfolio right away, high-performing properties. Read more about the Real Estate Buyers event. Get registered. We'll see you at the next event, realestatebuyersevent.com. We're back, and we're talking today about Asterisk Cities. Now, what is one of the other, and there's, as I said, there's so many different things. We could even get down into little things that make cities Asterisk Cities, manufacturing, different products that different cities have that might be in demand as our market changes for different things. Make those cities Asterisk Cities. Certainly people are going to be moving to certain cities for different things. We have seen the tech sector move to not only Texas, but also Miami. When you go to Miami, you see signs all over that say, make Miami the next tech hub. So there are definitely going to be people who are going to be moving into Miami, who are going to be moving into Dallas, who are going to be moving into Austin, who are interested in tech because that's where tech is moving to. That makes those cities Asterisk Cities for tech. If it's something that you understand, and you find a way that you can make that work for you. You understand the way the tech mind works. You understand where the tech companies are coming in, what kind of places these people are, usually younger, usually hipsters, what types of places these people want to live. That is an asterisk for you to take advantage of. What is another big asterisk, though, for us, Bill?
So I've actually got two. I want to throw this out so I don't forget it. One of the things that I love to look at is I love to go and see what the job growth market area is around the country. So you can go to census.gov and look at that. And you can go at U.S. employment and look at that and see where the job growth is, because wherever there's job growth, you're going to have real estate stability and growth. So that's one of, that's not what we plan on talking about next, but that's one of the things that I love looking at. We'll talk about that some other time. The other big thing that I love is looking at university cities. When you're looking at major universities, and Kevin mentioned earlier Columbus, Ohio, and with the Ohio State University. So when you look at that, when you've got a university that's got 50,000 plus students in it, you've got a massive impact on that community. And there's a massive impact on the real estate market in that community, even if the school is offering student housing. And some schools don't necessarily do that. University of Texas, Arlington. University of Texas, Arlington is a very big school. It doesn't have 50,000, but it's got 25,000 or so in it. But they have no student housing. So it has an incredible impact on that immediate area around the university for student housing. Whenever you're looking at big universities, they typically have a very attractive postgraduate program. University of Alabama has a law school, big deal. University of Alabama, Birmingham, which is also a 50,000 plus student university, has one of the top medical schools in the country. And it's gigantic. And it's downtown Birmingham, Alabama. And the housing is horrible as far as trying to get housing through the university. So when you look at that, that presents incredible opportunities for you and I as investors to be able to provide student housing. And look, we got to be within a acceptable parameter or an acceptable radius of the university so that a kid might be able to walk or a kid might be able to ride a bike to get to class, and they don't have to drive everywhere. And if they do have to drive, they're not driving 30, 40 minutes, they're driving 10 minutes. And so we need to draw those concentric circles around the campus, quarter mile, half mile, 3/4 mile, mile and a half, 2 miles, to be able to say, hey, you know what? Anybody that lives inside or any opportunity that's inside this circle, whether it's even 2 miles out, people can certainly ride a bike for 2 miles very easily. They may not want to walk, but they can certainly ride a bike for that. And they may want to walk for that, but that allows you and I the opportunity to have student housing out in these rings, these concentric rings outside of where the central campus is located. So you want to look at where can I go and find the top 100 universities in the country from a student enrollment standpoint. most of those universities you're going to know. It's going to be Michigan. It's going to be Ohio State. It's going to be Alabama. It's going to be University of Miami. It's going to be University of Tennessee. It's going to be Southern Cal, UCLA, University of Washington, wherever it is. You're going to look and you can look at the top 100 Division One. I'm sorry, they've changed the name now, whatever they call them, the FBS, from a football standpoint. And those markets correlate with great opportunities for us to be involved in student housing. And so I love student housing because it brings a twofold opportunity. You have the rental opportunity for a property for kids to live in, but you also have a property that goes hand in hand, which is the self-storage properties. Right now, I've got a very good friend who is, his son is a sophomore at Baylor University down in Waco, Texas. And it was a big deal for them when the semester ended, which just ended down in Waco, for them to be able to find self-storage property. And they had a really hard time with self-storage and had to go about 20 miles out from campus before they could find available self-storage. Why is that? Just not enough of it. Big university. And a lot of times parents and kids are going, especially parents are going, hey, you know what? I don't want to have to come down there and move your stuff again now. So we're about 90 miles from Waco here in Fort Worth. So I don't want to have to come down there, get your stuff, bring it back, store it, take it back in a couple of months. And why don't I just get a storage unit in Waco that I can come down and just help you move it? And that's the way most parents think. And so the self-storage opportunity is another great opportunity to look at in all of your college markets. Now, we're up on another hard break already, so hang around. We'll get into segment 3. Kev's got some great tips for us here, so we're going to come back in just a little bit with more.
I don't know about tips, but past experience, and we'll talk about that in just a second. GuaranteedMillionaireBlueprint.com. That's GuaranteedMillionaireBlueprint.com. You owe it to yourself to go there and check it out. If you are ready to become a real estate investor millionaire, like $1 million profit cash flow in your pocket every single year or more, GuaranteedMillionaireBlueprint.com. While you're there, check out the guarantee. Yeah, that's right. There is a guarantee that if you take this program and you follow what you learn in this program, you will become a millionaire. In fact, I'm going to return double your tuition back if this program doesn't make you a millionaire. Check it out. GuaranteedMillionaireBlueprint.com. That's GuaranteedMillionaireBlueprint.com. Once a month, with the exception of December, Bill and I go to markets where we have experience and we host a real estate buyer's event. These are markets that have great return potential for your real estate portfolio. We're going to show you the properties that we buy. We're going to show you where to buy, where not to buy, the strategies to use to make great income from these properties. We're also going to show you resources and individuals here on the ground that you can use to start building your team so that you can repeat this process over and over. The real estate buyers events are designed to put high-performing properties in your portfolio right away. If you're interested in hearing more about the Real Estate Buyers Event, realestatebuyersevent.com. That's realestatebuyersevent.com. Read more about the events, check out the schedule, and register. We'll see you there. And we are back with our final segment on our Asterisk Cities. Now, real quick, I was thinking about this while you were talking about it. I happen to know people who own storage units in different places, but one of them is in Riverside, California, and they are close to CBU, which is California Baptist University. Not only do they store things for students over the summer, California Baptist University is one of their clients. They park their buses, the campus buses, every night. They don't have a place to park them, I guess, on campus. So every night they put them in like an RV slot, essentially. Yep. And all summer long, those buses take up those spaces, because even if they're using buses for a summer session, they're using far less than they are on the regular time. So storage is great, not just for students, but you're going to have other businesses in the area that are there because of the university that are also going to make use of that. Now, something interesting on campus housing that I thought Bill was going to touch on, but he didn't, is not only do you have the value of the campus housing as an investment, but just like any other multifamily or any other commercial type of property, you've got the valuation on that. So I used to invest in campus housing where I went to school in the University of Akron. Now, for anybody who's familiar with Akron, you'll remember 20 years or so ago, on the other side of Exchange from where the main campus is, those used to be big, giant, old houses that were all student housing. And I had many of those houses myself. The university has since grown across Exchange and built university buildings and facilities and everything else over there where all those houses used to be. They exercised eminent domain to take those houses. Now, when I first got that letter and I got the offer for what the house was going to be, our houses were going to be, I got together with my attorney and we challenged that, because I had, going back 10 plus years of rents, and it could show the incremental increases that we made every single year on the rents, and it showed the values. And I was able to get significantly more. In fact, it was like 5 and 6 times more than what they offered for the property, by showing that I was losing money over the next 10 years by selling this property. And because it was a commercial property, as far as I was concerned, it was something that was earning me money. And I was able to show that, and I was able to show the incremental increases for the next 10 years. I was able to get nearly the value of what that property was going to bring in and be worth in 10 years. So I sold out those properties. It was kind of a benefit, because I sold those properties out for much more than what my offer was, and much more than I probably would have gotten if I had sat on those properties for 10 years and sold them in 10 years. Now, whenever you're anywhere like a Capitol building or a Capitol Center, like there's a Capitol complex in every city, it's all the Capitol buildings. And those Capitol complexes, they keep growing out and growing out and growing out. You have that possibility where your property is going to be taken over by eminent domain. Make sure that you're getting the most for your money on that. But the value has gone up. As soon as somebody wants that property or that area, the value has gone up. Same thing with universities. The closer you get to the university, the more value your rental has, the more somebody's going to pay for that rental. But the more value that property has, because somebody's willing to pay more money for that rental, and because that property may be standing in the way of progress, and it may have more demand and more value than just sitting there and housing students. It's what we call highest and best use in the appraisal game. What am I leaving out there, Mr.
Well,
Barnett?
that's a pretty amazing story there. And I bet a significant chunk of our listening and watching audience didn't realize that you could actually challenge eminent domain to be able to get true market value, and not what the city or the state or the federal government believes is market value for the property. And because Kevin went to his real estate attorney and he had the appropriate records to be able to say, hey, here's, I've had it for a while, here's been the rent, here's the escalation year to year to year to year to year. So there's no reason for me to think that those escalations are not going to continue, which means that in the next 10 years, here's what the value of this property would be. That was a brilliant move, but it's a move that any of us should think about. So when we get into a situation where we're being forced to do something with a piece of real estate, so it might be eminent domain, it also could be the effect of I have to give somebody leeway onto the property. If I've got to do that, I want to make sure that I'm talking to my attorney to see, am I being compensated some way for this? And if I am being compensated, is it the right dollar amount? And a real estate attorney is terrific to be able to help you figure out what the right answer to that is. Now, we would never hesitate if we felt like our property was overtaxed to go and protest the taxation, the property taxes on our property. So if that's the case, let's not be shy at going about, hey, you know what? That's not enough. You're offering to buy this. It's an eminent domain. I've got to give leeway for access, whatever it happens to be. Then I want to talk to my real estate attorney and fight for the best dollar that I can get for me and my family. Now, there's one more thing I want to mention university-wise, and then we'll probably be over that's Norm for our show.
Real quick on that point.
Yep.
For anybody who's ever dealt with eminent domain, you know that when you receive that letter, there's actually a section of that letter that tells you how to contest the amount. If you don't agree with the amount, how to contest that amount. Now, you can contest that amount going through those avenues. If they don't agree, and chances are they're not going to, you also still have the right to present it in court. Now, you can't present in court that you shouldn't have to move, that you can't give it up or anything else. Eminent domain doesn't work that way. But if you can prove what the value of the property is and what your future losses are going to be, real future losses as a result of you selling that property, then you can take it to court if the eminent domain review board doesn't agree with your valuation. And usually the court will see it your way if the eminent domain valuation did not. And again, there's processes for all of that. Usually the first process is outlined on that letter that they send you telling you what they valued your property at. I'm sorry, Bill, go ahead and finish
No.
your...
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. Now, I was also going to mention that if you've been dealing with universities or that you think you would like to, and there's more ways to work with a university than just student housing. If you go look at the trust department for the universities, the endowment department, a lot of people from an endowment standpoint, instead of giving cash to a university that they support, they will give them a house or a piece of land. And so you can go into the endowments department, the trust department, and say, hey, you know what? Do you have real estate that you're dealing with? I may be able to help you convert that to cash. And sometimes those properties are going to be prime properties, and they're just going to hire a real estate agent to sell them. But other times, those properties are going to be properties that the people that are donating are going, you know what, I don't really know what to do or what I want to do with this property. So I'm going to give it away because I can get a great tax deduction for this donation. The university is not going to turn it down. Then they're going to get it and go, hey, you know, I don't know what to do with this. So we're just going to hang on to this for a while. Maybe we'll figure it out down the road. That's an opportunity for you to be able to come in and say, let me see the properties that you have available, and I can make suggestions to you as how those can be turned into cash. And universities are all about cash. They want the money. They love the property, but they want the money. And you know that by the amount that they go up in tuition every year. So you know they want to get everything that they can get onto cash. If it connects to the university, if it is adjacent to their property, that's going to be a whole different game. But so many of these properties aren't anywhere remotely close to the university. It's just a donation made. And so you have an opportunity to have some great chances to make some excellent income and help the university convert those properties to cash and better yourself along the way.
Yeah, and not just our Asterisk Cities turned into a university properties show, but that's okay. One of the great things about having university properties is, apart from the regular advertising that your property manager would do, you need to make sure that your property manager is also working with student housing. A lot of times they will get full and they will have to refer people out to outside housing. If it's somebody they work with on a regular basis, you're the person they're going to refer you to first. Also, every school that is of any size has a foreign students department where they deal with foreign students. They all have usually their own separate resources, and that includes housing. I prefer, and no reason other than just from a business standpoint, I prefer foreign students because they don't party as much. They pay their bills on time. There's usually less destruction, just because they don't have the same type of mentality. They don't have the same type of social situation that a lot of regular students have when they get to university, especially if it's their first 2 years where they just want to party and have fun. So also consider that a resource and make sure that your property manager is in touch with that resource as well. Now, we have gone over as Bill predicted. He is a guru. You're a mincy. I'm telling you. I don't know how
I'm
you
psychic, dude. I'm telling you.
But we will be back on Thursday, and we'll have another great show for you then. And
Thanks for joining us.
Then get out there, get started if you're not already started. If you have already started, take some time, make sure you're doing this right, and power punch your investing efforts. And keep watching us. Whatever you do, most important thing you do this year, watch us. All right. I will see you, Bill, really soon, and we'll see the rest of you guys on Thursday. Have a great one.
See you now.